Hello and welcome. It is another Q&A day. If you have a question, just reply to the email that sent you here. And if you weren't sitting here by an email, you could sign up for the list down below. So, on to the first question. It's from Alan, and the base of the question is, why do all Android drawing apps suck? And I'm not sure I agree with that. I think there are some good drawing apps out there, but this was asked in the context of the reviews I recently did for the Galaxy Note 10 Plus and the Galaxy Tab S6 that just came out in the last week or two. And in it, I listed out some of the Android drawing apps that I used, and I talked about it a little bit. And he mentions like iPad apps and why iPad's art and drawing apps are so much better. And in my reviews, I did mention that drawing on an Android tablet feels like it's stuck in time. It feels like pretty much the same it did 3 years ago when I first started reviewing these sort of things. Whereas in the 4 years since the iPad Pro came out, I've seen a huge leap forward in the professionalism and just the depth and scope of some of the drawing apps that are available. You got Procreate, you got Clip Studio, which is the full desktop app. You've got Photoshop coming soon, not to mention the Infinity software, what Apple's doing with Sidecar, all that great stuff. And I think if you have to ask the question, why haven't we seen that on Android? Why are we seeing just kind of smaller, pared down apps? I think the answer to that is money. Is you just haven't seen, or the developers haven't seen the kind of return on investment that they would look for to continue to develop those apps. And something to keep in mind is some apps are developed by big companies. Obviously, Photoshop's a pretty big company. Affinity, which is developed by Serif, is becoming a big company. But some apps, like Procreate, started as, a couple people working on an app together as hobbyists. I think some of the Android apps are the same way. If you look at Artflow, if you look at, what's the other one? Infinite Painter, that's the other one. You look at apps like that, and those are just developed by one person or small teams. And if they're making a lot of money, they grow, they add more people, the apps get bigger, the apps add more features, and if they're not making a lot of money, they don't grow. So I think, in short, that's where it's at. I also think that if there was a lot of money in the Android ecosystem for these kind of art apps, you would probably see more people enter. You'd probably see Adobe take it more seriously. You would probably see Affinity or Serif taking it more seriously as well. You have the people at Procreate saying, hey, maybe we'd make an Android app. But right now we haven't seen that. I think the other side of that coin is, though Android phones have been immensely popular, I don't think Android tablets have been as popular as the iPad tablets have. So I would say this. If you love Android, or if you just hate Apple and would rather have an alternative to it, really the best thing you can do is, whether you're on an Android phone or an Android tablet, is go to the App Store, and if you like an app, buy it. Pay for the in-app purchases. I know nobody likes to buy things. Everybody likes to get things for free. But at the end of the day, that's what supports the ecosystem, is actually using money to purchase apps so developers can eat and hire help to make more features and make their apps better. This next question is from Carolyn. She says that her iPad Pro 2017 model gets really hot when she uses Procreate, and she needs to take a break and cool it down. Have I noticed that? I have not. Mine gets warm definitely when I use it a lot. If yours is getting really hot, I hesitate to troubleshoot this because I'm not a troubleshooter, but I would say take it into the Apple Store and get that checked out. Because if it's getting really hot, what's causing that? Is there a problem with the battery? It might be something that needs checked out. I don't know. Might be worth just taking it in and having them check it out. Have you seen the announcement for Procreate 5? It looks awesome. Yes, they were at the Lightbox Expo, and about 2 weeks beforehand, they asked me if I wanted a press pass, and I could go for free to Lightbox, and I said no. We were just returning from a vacation at that point in time, and plus we'd have to pay for flights out there and stuff like that. So I turned them down, but yeah, I knew that they were going to announce it beforehand. I've asked to be on the beta release. They haven't put me on there yet. They might still. But yeah, some of those new features, they're looking pretty good. Martin asks, are you excited about the Procreate Update 5? Yes, I am. Actually, the next 6 questions are about the same thing. Devesh asks, I wanted to see if there is a cheap drawing tablet with a screen, like a cheap 2-in-1. Are those actually worth it? I haven't reviewed too many inexpensive two-in-ones, and the main reason I haven't, like specifically talking about Windows tablets here, is that I know I wouldn't like them, for me having a really slow computer is excruciatingly a painful experience. It's like having slow internet. It's like, I know this should work well, but it's not working well. It's lagging and things aren't working right and that sort of thing. So when I see like a $200 or $300 Windows tablet that has a pen, I just instantly know it just doesn't have the horsepower to do what it does. That's a hard pill to swallow. I would say that if you're on a budget, you're better off getting an inexpensive laptop and an inexpensive tablet to go along with it without a screen. It's not as much fun to use. But just having a faster laptop is going to benefit you more than to having a really slow screen-based tablet, in my opinion. Hey, here's a question. Are you going to create any classes tutorial based around your new Design Cuts brush pack? I sent out an email about that couple weeks ago, and this was sent since before last Friday, because last Friday you may have received an email. My first of my tutorials on how I use those brushes and that design cut packs went out, so check your email. Another one will be going out next week. And as a whole, I mentioned this months ago, I'm working on a large tutorial, not a paid tutorial, but it's going to be for subscribers to this newsletter. It's going to be a freebie I give out to new folks and to you who already subscribe. And it's basically, I'm taking a lot of the things that I've talked about in my videos, like introduction to digital drawing and that sort of thing. And I'm taking a lot of that knowledge and putting it into one big course that's going to be on this channel. And that video that I sent out last week about how to use brushes was one of the videos that'll be included in that larger package of things. So look forward to that, probably sometime. It's still another month or two out. But yeah, that is coming, and I'm going to start dribbling out content as I get it. Togo asks if I've had the opportunity to use the free art app called Fresco by Adobe. It's supposedly Adobe's answer to Procreate. So I have not had the chance. I signed up for the beta months ago. I haven't gotten access to it, but it comes out on September 24th. That's coming up pretty soon. When is that? Tuesday! Don't get excited. Don't get excited. Don't get excited. So yeah, it's looking pretty cool. I'm gonna test it out when it comes out, maybe on Tuesday. Joking aside, Fresco looks really cool. I'm really excited about it. It says in the App Store that it's coming out Tuesday, but that's an expected date. I don't know if that's a final date. Adobe hasn't said anything officially. That's just listed in the App Store. So hopefully next week we'll all get to use it. I don't know if it's going to be free, however. It might. The app says it has in-app purchases, so we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if it's tied to Creative Cloud at some point in time. Sean asks, what update announcements am I most excited about? Adobe Fresco or Procreate 5? And so I love Procreate, but I feel like the announcements there, like they've added some animation tools, they've added some cool stuff. It's a nice iterative update. It's exactly what I expected from Procreate. I mean, I didn't expect those specific features, but you know what I mean. Like, hey, they're adding more features. Cool. I'm excited about that. But Fresco, I think there is a lot of potential there. And the one thing that Adobe Photoshop does really well, specifically, are the way it handles brushes, specifically Kyle's brushes. And Kyle has been working, what's Kyle's last name? Kyle Webster. Works at Adobe now, has been working on this Fresco project, and that's why I'm excited about it. Some of the things they're doing with wet media is way beyond what I have seen, Procreate being able to do with their apps, just working with watercolors and things like that. So that's why I'm excited about it, just because it's so new and I don't know anything about it other than the few videos that have been out there. So right now, it is Fresco that that I think I'm most excited about. In fact, I'm probably more excited about Fresco than I am about the upcoming release of Photoshop on the iPad. Juan wants to know, what screen protector do I use on my iPad to get that simulated paper texture feel? Paperlike is not paying me to say this, but I've been using the Paperlike screen protectors. And in the past, full disclosure, they have sponsored my videos. So I'm not being paid right now to say that I like using Paperlike, even though I like to use them. But in the past, I've been paid to say that. So just full disclosure. But yeah, it's called Paperlike. They're pretty good. They're more expensive, but they've got a nice finish to them. I like how they feel. So those are the questions for this week. If you have a question, just reply to the email newsletter. If you haven't signed up yet, there is a link down below for that. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in a couple of days. Maybe when I talk about Fresco, we'll see.